Cesc Fabregas, welcome. Hasn't quite panned out the way you'd like this time around. No silverware this time. Just shows how difficult it is to retain the Premier League title. How will you look back on the title defence?
Well, good evening, everyone. Obviously, it is difficult because when you are champion, that means the rest of the teams, they will improve, they will strengthen their squad. Pre-season, they will work hard to try and beat you, and it's obviously the most difficult. I always say that to retain things means that you have to work even double than the year before because the other teams will be stronger, but unfortunately it wasn't our season this year. And
what about Jose Mourinho's departure? How disappointing was it, in particular the way it was perceived?
Well, a lot has been said and many wrong things about that. I love Jose, I consider him even my friend. We still keep in touch right now, and some of the things said were unfortunate. But, you know, I have huge respect. I think Jose's biggest problem was that he trusted us too much. He gave us more holiday because we were champions. He believed in us more, he trusted us more, and we let him down. The whole team, as all the players, and, you know, that was the main reason why at the end he had to go, and for that, you know, myself obviously, and all the teams, I think we feel bad for that.
And we'll talk a lot more about Chelsea later on. The big question now is who will win the title this season. Leicester lead the way. We see Spurs tonight, and when you're going for a title like they are, is tonight a night where they simply have to win?
100%. It's a big night for them because they know that the rest of the teams, they drop points, especially Leicester that are up front, and if they really want to get this championship, they must get 3 points today for sure.
It's a big opportunity. They have to wait a fair amount of time, haven't they, to try and close this gap?
They have, and it's been a few weeks now. They've been hoping that the gap would get smaller. For a few weeks, it was 5 points. It then grew the lead, and you're thinking, can they turn it around? Can they get it back? So, for the game yesterday, they'd be pleased. Leicester dropped points. You didn't expect that at home to West Ham. They'd be slightly disappointed there's not another point. The point they gained late on with the penalty. But it should give them a massive lift going into this game. And if they can get the 3 points tonight, you can imagine what that will do to Leicester. Of course, all the staff, supporters and players of Leicester will be watching tonight. They'll be tuning in, hoping they'll drop points. But if they could win today, it's what it does for them, but also what it'll do for Leicester next time out against Swansea.
Tonight, Stoke have the chance to bounce back from last weekend's heavy defeat at Anfield. Tottenham's players and their fans have had to watch on so far this weekend. The drama at Leicester yesterday. Now, though, they get their chance. Here are the teams. Mark Hughes has made 4 changes to the Stoke side that lost to Liverpool. In comes Shay Given in goal, making his Premier League debut for the club. Also in come Muniesa, Whelan and Arnautovic. Peters is suspended. Bardsley and Crouch move to the bench. Mauricio Pochettino's named an unchanged Spurs team. They're at full strength. It's the same side that was so impressive against Manchester United. It's only the 6th time in the league these 11 have started together. Harry Kane has overcome his dead leg. He is fit to start. Big night for him. Delighted to say with us tonight on Monday Night Football, Cesc Fabregas. And it's time to talk Chelsea now. The top 2 in the table, Tottenham and Leicester, are the only 2 sides to have a better record than Gus Hiddink since he came to Chelsea, returned to the club in December. He's won 7 of his 17 games in charge. After Saturday, it's now 2 defeats. And in that time with Gus Hiddink at the club, Cesc, this is what you've done. You're far more successful with your passes than any other player. You've been more involved than any other player as well. Explain then what the managers asked you to do differently.
Well, I think under Gus, we tried to play the beginning when he came and things were not completely right. He tried to have stability in midfield. And I remember that he started playing many games with Obi Mikel and Nemanja Matic, with me or Oscar number 10. And until I think it was Man United, where we drew 0-0. And we didn't play the best game. And after that, for Crystal Palace, he changed. He came to talk to me, and he wanted me to, as he says, coaching, do a lot of coaching, get deep, get the ball, create things, make the team take a little bit from deep positions. And I think everything started there. He wanted me to be on the ball basically all the time. And for me, it's fantastic because it's the game I love to play, to have the ball, feel important, have movement around the pitch. And I think that helped a lot for my confidence.
But it didn't quite go to plan, Jamie, on Saturday.
No, I think Cesc is happy. We're not going to give this the full Monday Night Football treatment. But I think we shouldn't forget how well Manchester City played. I think it's obviously with Chelsea, they've announced a new manager. At times they've played younger players. They've been swapping the goalkeepers around. It. Obviously they're looking towards maybe more next season. But of course, Cesc will know better than me. They'll want to improve this before the end of the season. But the biggest disappointment, I think, for Chelsea in this game will not be the performance and the result. It'll be the fact Kevin De Bruyne is wearing a Manchester City shirt. I thought he was outstanding. And I think already I'll be thinking towards next season, thinking he could be the star man in this Premier League. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And that'll be a bigger worry to maybe the people above, why he's now turning out for Manchester City, because he looked a class act. But as I said, I'm sure Chelsea will be strong before the end of the season, won't he?
For sure we will.
On the day, though, was City just too good?
We started well. We had a couple of chances with Pedro, Diego, disallowed goal as well. But out of 3 corners, if I can remember correctly, they made 3 fantastic counterattacks. Our mistakes, but also, they were playing at their strengths, and they have quality, as Jamie's saying. Kevin De Bruyne had a fantastic game. Aguero, you cannot give him a meter to turn because he's clinical in front of goal. So yeah, we didn't play well. We know that. We're the first ones to admit. But now let's forget about it and let's try to finish as well as we can for the club, for our pride, for everything.
Manchester City have got a new man coming this summer. Pep Guardiola is coming to the Premier League. Are you looking forward to taking him on?
Well, 100%. You always want to play against the best. 100% Pep will bring new things to the Premier League, to Man City. They will be a force next year. They are already this season. See where they are, semi-final of the Champions League. Now fighting to be in the top 3. So for sure they will be a force next season. And all the teams will have to be stronger even more.
Well, Cesc, you're talking about Pep Guardiola, but we look at the counters now, and obviously you signed for Barcelona, and he actually looking at the counters now, he changed the system. I think he'd had great success with 4-3-3, won lots of trophies, but when you came in, he changed to a 3-4-3. Mm-hmm. How did he speak to you when you signed about your role in this team?
Yeah, basically what he wanted to do is change formation. I think after 3 years playing at a fantastic level and winning many things, he felt that the other teams, the opponents, were, catching a little bit the way of defending or attacking or playing against Barcelona on a 4-3-3. And he wanted to find something different, play a different system with a 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, plus Lionel Messi dropping even deep. He wanted to dominate midfield more than anything. And then to have 2 wide players always threatening, staying open, and going in behind defenders. So it worked for the majority of the season.
You end up winning the title in the first season. That was Jose. But what's your feeling in terms of the new manager, in terms of Conte and what he may bring, maybe the system he plays?
Yeah, well, I love football, and I've been studying it a little bit in his previous teams, what he does. We played against Italy recently against them, and it's really interesting because you can see that he loves offensive football. Tactically, you see that his teams are so well organized, and for what I've said, for what I've heard, and probably proved by so many professionals talking about him, is that the discipline, that he's a winner, he's a competitor, and that's what we need. We need someone who will be always on our back, trying to push us and make us work hard and teaching us new things, the things he wants to do and to achieve. But for sure, all I know is that he wants to win straight away. No transition, no more excuses. Wants to win, and for that we will have to be prepared since day one.
Let's have a look at the new man then. You say he's a winner. This is what he's done so far in football management. He's been in charge at 5 clubs. He's obviously in charge of Italy at the moment. He's won Serie A with Juve. And look at that. You talked about his system there and his setup. He's played with a back 3 in 75% of the games in the last 5 seasons with Juventus and Italy. And you said there he was offensive. when you played against Italy. Is three at the back, do you think, the way forward with him?
I have no idea. I think with Juventus he played different systems as well. He played four at the back with two strikers even sometimes. I think at the end of the day, systems are a little bit, in my opinion, overrated in terms of you can play three at the back plus one midfield and then two interiors, or with wingers. You can play four but very offensive fullbacks or very defensive. At the end of the day, it depends on the players you have. And I'm sure he will make the best team he can, considering what he wants to do.
You think of players in your position who he's had, and you automatically think of Pirlo. Do you think that's a role you could sort of fulfil, especially as you're getting older, maybe into your 30s? You play that sort of sitting role there, rather than, as we saw the earlier clips, you were on the edge of the box, creating goals, scoring goals. Do you think that may be the future of you, especially with this manager, even though he's worked with a Pirlo?
Well, listen, you can never say never. Obviously, listen, I'm very honest with myself. I'm not the quickest player. I'm not the most mobile in terms of defensive abilities. So I would always have to be well protected with disciplined players that from the back, midfield and the strikers with very, very composed lines. But why not? I love coming deep to get the ball. I love these long-range passes. I like to connect with people from the front, seeing between the lines. So it's a position that I like, obviously.
In England, that's seen as a defensive position. People who are aggressive like to make challenges. But obviously in Spain, I'm talking about Pirlo, you've got Busquets, Xavi Alonso. Do you see that as an offensive position? It can be that.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Sometimes when you have players like you said, Xavi Alonso, he is playing as a defensive midfielder, but you want him in your team to be offensive because he sees the pass, he sees the balls. Instead of playing backwards or playing, next to you 5 meters, he will see the long-range ball. He will see when the winger is making a move or behind defenders. Or he will see other things that maybe another kind of midfielder will not see. So that's why at the moment in this Chelsea side, I like playing there.
Obviously in your first season, you got a lot of assists, a lot of goals, you got a lot of acclaim for that. And maybe this season, not as many. But do you think in terms of central midfield players, you judge very harshly? I'm thinking of yourself personally, because how many central midfield players you talk of? Alonso never scores a goal or creates a goal, or you think of some of the great midfielders, Petit, Vieira, Roy Keane in our league. Do you think the numbers that you got were sort of off the scale last year for a central midfield player?
No, not really. It's the numbers that I've been doing all my career. But to be honest, I like being judged harshly because that makes me, better. That makes motivates me.
But in terms of, you say your numbers, but I think at Arsenal you were more maybe number 10, Barcelona you were closer to the goal. Do you think if you're going to actually play that position, it should be more about you feeding those players, maybe Oscar, Willian, Hazard, to then make the creation and score?
Obviously, the deeper you are, the more difficult it is to get into the box, the more difficult it is to be in the final third and to score goals. That's 100% sure. But at the same time, I know that all my career I've been doing it, so people will always have the need or the feel to say, no, Cesc, instead of 20 assists, he's got 7, 8. And this is, when you see it in numbers, it will always be, it looks like it's not as good. But I think the last 3-4 months of myself, I'm happy how it went. Obviously not this Saturday, forget about it. But but the last 3-4 months were okay, and I'm just enjoying the football. Not intense position. Obviously, I want to be as high as possible. But I will try to make my mark and finish as high as we can.
That leg belongs to Jack Butland. Desperate luck for him with his injury picked up on England duty. Bad luck for Stoke as well. He was having such a good season, and his absence has given Mark Hughes a real problem. And tonight, he has turned to Shay Given in goal. He makes his Premier League debut for Stoke. He is 40 on Wednesday. A couple of changes in the back four for Stoke tonight. Jeff Cameron moves from midfield. He'll play at right back. At left back, Muniesa comes in as Eric Peters serves the first of a 2-game ban. Settled in central defence, Volscheid and Shawcross. Then in midfield, Whelan comes into the side alongside the man who cost 18.3 million, and he's played every minute in the Premier League since joining the club as Imbula. Now, the three in front of them, a change with Arnautovic coming into the side. He starts tonight, Shaqiri on the right, and central is Afellay, who played with Cesc Fabregas at Barcelona. And the big responsibility up top tonight, with Peter Crouch moving to the bench, is on Bojan. He scored in the last 2 games, his first goals since Boxing Day. And that's the Stoke team up against a young Spurs side. Incredibly, they've only turned to one player in his 30s this season. That was Michel Vorm on the opening day of the season at Old Trafford. It's a young team with Hugo Lloris, the captain, in goal. Their back four really is settled now, and Toby Alderweireld has just been outstanding all season. He's played every minute in the Premier League. Jan Vertonghen back alongside him now. He returned to the side last Sunday after missing 11 weeks. The 2 fullbacks remain, Walker and Rose. Now, Eric Dyer scored in the reverse fixture. As Spurs went 2-0 up, you might remember, they were pegged back by Stoke. It finished 2-2. And alongside him is Dembele, who Mark Hughes brought to the Premier League when he was at Fulham. The attacking players in the Spurs side have all been outstanding this season. Eric Lamela on the score sheet last weekend. Dele Alli making such a big impression. 8 Premier League goals to his name. 10 assists for Eriksen, which has all helped Harry Kane as the top scorer in the Premier League. Jointy is now on 22 Premier League goals, but he has never scored against Stoke, unlike Cesc Fabregas, who scored in a couple of wins at Stoke, which, as the cliche says, Cesc, is the place where we find out what people are made of on a cold night under the lights of the Britannia Stadium.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be able to say that I made it there on a cold Monday night.
Happy memories.
Yeah, but you know, here, this type of games wins you leagues, and if Spurs want to have a chance to follow Leicester lead, I think they have to win this game massively, because it will not be easy. This team has been playing Stoke very, very well recently. Good football. They are a threat all the time, and I wouldn't be surprised if they can be a difficult opponent.
Cesc, you're talking about Stoke. Are you surprised by the actual change in them, especially, we spoke earlier on about maybe playing a false 9. I think Bojan's being a striker, but he's more someone who comes to the ball. Do you think that's a massive change that you've seen over the years in Stoke?
Yeah, probably. They are all this team is related to having the ball. They are quick on counter-attack as well, and especially Bojan, as you said, for me, more than the typical number 9 English or that we are used to see in the Premier League. He's more of a false 9 striker that he likes to come deep. You know, he likes to have the ball, play 1-2s in the box, associate well, and Arnautovic and Shaqiri have been different class.
Well, I mean, I highlighted this player, Dembele, when they played at Anfield. I think he's an outstanding central midfield player. Is he the type of player you've looked over the last few years and thought maybe he could do more, or he is one of the top midfield players in the league?
Yeah, 100%. I always felt that he had more to offer than what we were seeing from him. And I was a bit surprised last year when he wasn't playing regularly, because every time he was playing, he was doing very well. But he's having a fantastic season.
I just want to look at his stats, Dembele. It was something I mentioned to yourself before about judging central midfield players. He's someone who always gets thrown at him. He doesn't get enough goals or assists. But in terms of his position, and we see at the top his goals and assists, but his Premier League ranking, midfield players' duties of central midfield, you see he's right up there.
Yeah, he doesn't lose the ball. He has good balance. He's the type of player that sometimes, as a midfielder, you see you're going to get the ball, but he puts his body in, and he turns very quick. He passes players, and he has good combination with the ball. So he's been fantastic for Spurs this year, and he's a vital player for them and for the game they play.
Well, look, I mean, the one is on everyone's lips, especially with him being a young English player. I know you haven't come up against Dele Alli. Was that someone you've watched from afar and thought, you know, an outstanding young English player can go on to big things?
Yeah, 100%. I feel that sometimes he's not too involved in the game, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just appears into the box and he scores coming from deep. And this is a talent. We all seen players like that, especially in England, having success being like that. But he scores wonder goals as well sometimes, so he's been good.
And to win a league, you need a goal scorer, don't you? And they've certainly got that with that man, Harry Kane.
Yeah, fantastic. You never knew with him after last year what's going to happen when you are young and when you are very good. everyone is wondering what will happen on your second year, on your third year. Can you be successful? Can you be regular, consistent? And he's proved to be all of that, and it's greatly talented. So fantastic to see players like this doing well.
Right, Cesc, we've been inundated with questions for you. Here's the first one. Who did you idolise as a child? Who is your favourite player?
Well, I used to be a Barcelona fan since very, very little, so it was always Romario, Laudrup. I used to love the way Laudrup play Guardiola, Koeman when he scored the goal of the first Champions League. So I used to like Figo a lot until. But yeah, it's got to be a Barcelona player.
So Barcelona player for you. Kevin Sheedy for you, Jamie?
Yeah, why not? Just putting words in my mouth.
Right, next question, Cesc. Best player you've played with, you're not allowed to say Lionel Messi.
Why not?
Because the question is apart from Lionel Messi, because that would have been the answer, I presume.
Oh, that's difficult. I've been so lucky in my career to play with the very, very best. Thierry Henry, Iniestas, Xavis, Torres, Villas.
That's
so difficult.
It's a good list.
So difficult for me to say one. I'll go for Thierry Henry. When I was there, my early years at Arsenal, he was at his very, very best. You played against him. He was a beast. He was a beast, and fantastic. I learned so much from him.
Now then, it's getting serious for Barcelona right now, Cesc. How do you think they will react to their recent losses, and do you think they can still win the league?
I think they will win the league. They have the easiest run. There's a few tough games for Real Madrid and Atletico on Wednesday. I still believe they will win the double. It's not easy, as we've seen football. I thought they will win the triple this year again. Not easy, because football is never easy, but comfortably. And football surprises you once again, so I believe they will win the double, but they cannot allow any more mistakes.
Same question to you.
I mean, he knows it better. I've really looked at the fixture. I mean, I couldn't believe yesterday's result. I thought they'd get back on track against Valencia. But I think what's interesting, and maybe something to ask you, Cesc, as well, when teams have been on an unbelievable run like Barcelona have so long unbeaten, I think the record, once they lose one, remember when you were at Arsenal, you had the 49 games or 50 games, and then you lost at Manchester United. Yeah. It wasn't just the one loss and then they get back on track. It feels like it takes a long time. Yeah. Maybe that's something similar, do you think, at Barcelona
maybe
now?
It's like a mental block, or you're so used to winning that all of a sudden you don't really know how to deal with the lose.
You forget how to lose.
Yeah, but basically that's what happened to them, because they, as you said, the run was like 39 games, basically winning every game. So yeah, they've got a bit of a bad run, but with the players they have, it's so difficult for me to believe that they don't win anything this year.
It's an interesting question for you, Cesc. After experience in both Spanish and English football, what would you say is the biggest difference between the two?
I think La Liga is more tactical. I think there is maybe not so much space between the lines. The teams are better disciplined than England. In England, it's more of an aggressive league, more up and down. Physically, you have to be on top of your game all the time. I still believe the best players in the world are in Spain. That's why we see maybe the talent, the real talent there, when we see the Neymars, the Suarez, the Ronaldos, James, Messi's, Iniestas. But if I have to choose a game to normally watch, apart from Barcelona or Real Madrid, I will always watch the Premier League. It's more entertaining, it's more enthusiastic, it's more real, in my opinion.
You know, in terms of the difference between the leagues, you know, in terms of what we looked at at the top of the show, in terms of Jamie Vardy, now whenever we get one of those incidents, it's big news in England, it's a dive, and the culture in England is, you know, we don't like to see that. In Spain, would that be on the front pages of the press if Messi or Ronaldo or Suarez sort of won a penalty?
It would have to be something really big for it to be big news or to call the guy a cheater or whatever. Because in Spain, if let's say the Vardy action happens in Spain, we will say that the striker is trying to be smart, is trying to win a penalty or something for his team, who is leading the Premier League and is trying to keep being on top.
So the culture in Spain, I mean, I actually think that the Vardy one was a big dive, but I understand what you're saying in terms of we've had these discussions with Luis Suarez on times on the show. So in Spain, would the criticism be more for the defender for being stupid, for giving Suarez or Messi or Ronaldo the chance? The chance,
yeah. We would be saying that the striker is trying to be smart and trying to fool the defender for him to touch him a little bit and go down and create a problem to the referee. But I'm not saying, that in Spain we are trying to cheat or the players are trying to do something that is not correct. But it's been like a different story when it happens to Spain. It will never make front covers or stuff like that.
So being in England, do you think we overreact on situations like that, or do you think we're right to sort of view situations like that?
There is a bit of everything. In my opinion, something like the Vardy reaction, it is a little bit overrated in terms of the day after, how much is talked about instead of the actual sometimes football or 1-2 or another action that happened in the game. But I understand the point as well, that there is many teams trying to play for the title. Well, in this case only 2, but it's very important that the game keeps as clean as it can.
Next question for you, Cesc. Let's separate these two. They want to know your favourite assist and goal. Let's go with your favourite assist first.
Well, I would say my favourite assist is the World Cup winning goal.
That's fair enough, I would say.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's the most important for sure. I don't know if it's the most beautiful, but definitely the most important.
What an occasion that was.
Yeah, it was the best moment of my life after the birth of my two little girls.
Fantastic. And what about your favourite goal that you've scored?
Well, I would have to go for the goal I scored for Arsenal against Spurs, actually, straight after kickoff. I still don't know how it happened.
Well, talk us through it then.
But but Van Persie just scored the 1-0, and they just lost a stupid ball here in midfield. I don't know why. I felt strong in that moment, and I just tried to have a little run with the ball, and it paid off. It was a great goal.
Did you say earlier you weren't quick?
Those days.
Is it because of the goal, the actual goal? Is it because of who you scored it against?
Both. For the moment, we just scored the 1-0. You know how London derbies are, and the way it happened straight away after the first goal. The fans were already celebrating the first goal, and now all of a sudden they are celebrating the second. 10 seconds later, it was a fascinating moment.
Terrific. Now then, ask for your player of the season. Now, before you reveal your player of the season, we'll come to that. Tell us your team of the season, which people are talking about at the moment, the PFA player and the PFA team of the season. Here we go. This is your team, and talk us through why you have gone for these guys. For starters, De Gea in goal. Was that a simple selection?
Well, not simple, because I think Schmeichel has done brilliantly. And he deserves probably to be there as well. But De Gea saved so many points at the end of the season for Man United. I don't know, God knows how many, but I'm sure there's a lot.
Trying to give him some confidence for the summer?
Well, hopefully. Hopefully he's watching and can get some.
Tell you what, there's some attacking talent in the side. The back four, the fullbacks has got a lot of conjecture going in the team. Was that your hardest selection when you look at that?
I think so, because basically I had everything clear through the side, but the fullbacks were the most difficult. Bellerin, I like the way he plays. He's very fast. When players take him on, he's fast to recover. He's confident with the ball. He moves forward. Maybe, even creating chances sometimes for Arsenal. So very good.
You're not going to be popular in the Chelsea dressing room tomorrow, are you?
Why?
You can't pick from your own team, so.
I can.
Well, he can. He's on Monday Night Football. He do what he wants. He'll Cup winner.
Listen, we have to be honest. None of us deserves to be there. So I'm sure they will not be.
Who's been the best player for Chelsea this season?
I believe Willian has been the most consistent. Zuma has had a good season until, unfortunately, he was injured. But I believe Willian has been top form whole season.
So from that team, who was the standout? Who was the star? Who was the player of the season?
I'd have to go for Mahrez, in my opinion, because he made things happen for Leicester through the whole season. And you can speak about Vardy and Kane and so many players, but for Leicester, what they're doing, the way they are doing it, it has to be a talented player like him for player of the season.
A flair player.
Yeah, for sure. In my team, always.
Which leads me nicely to this one. Do you think the man you've just chosen there, Mahrez, could cut it at the top Spanish side of Real Madrid, Barcelona?
Why not? Why not? Let him enjoy first this season. Let's see if he can get a Premier League medal, and then we can talk about it. But he has the talent. He's young. He's straightforward. He works hard. I believe he can be in a top club soon. A
great story, as we saw on Super Sunday yesterday as well. Now then, give us some hope here, Cesc. Are you excited for the upcoming Euros, and how challenging do you see England as opposition given this season's European form? Bearing in mind tonight, should we be excited?
Yes, of course you have to be excited. I mean,
you don't sound excited.
No, with England, I always hear the same thing. That's the problem, and we always expect big things.
Do we get too excited over here about our team?
Maybe, I don't know, but the excitement, the players will bring you the excitement. If they are starting well, if they give you the confidence to be excited by playing well and by giving good performances, then I agree that you could be. But they are a very young team. They look good. I watched the game against Germany. They were excellent in the second half, so why not?
You know, you've played in England for a long time, your situation at Arsenal and Chelsea. What is it about the England team or in tournaments that you look at from obviously inside the Spanish camp and think about the England team, where they're going wrong or what they lack?
Well, to be honest, I don't know, I was talking about it the other day as well. I think it happens a little bit what used to happen to Spain before we won our first European Championship in 2008. Mentally, we're already thinking we will lose instead of believing we can win. You know what I mean? The history is too much maybe on our shoulders until one day, you don't know why. For example, in Spain, I remember quarterfinals were like the limit. We were always getting out quarterfinal. Until that day, on the penalties against Italy, we won, and it was like freedom, like a liberation for all of us. And we ended up playing a fantastic semi-final against Russia and winning against Germany in the final.